Right then guys, quite a lot of you wanted to see inside it, and here it is. This is inside the X-Ray, I suppose it would be a PSU. First of all, you'll probably notice the rather large variac, a rather strange variac too. I'll try and get you a bit of a... Now it's kind of two variacs in one, but it's not. One of them isn't actually a variac, that's a load of rubbish. Basically, one of the knobs on the front here, which you saw yesterday, had milliamps and one had kV. Well, the one I'm turning now is for the kV, and that is basically a normal variac. It's got a carbon roller as opposed to brushes. Got these here for heat sinking, brass rods. Now I did actually watch the video that Ant done on the one that he got given by the same chap, and they are actually different inside. And instead of ripping my one to pieces, I'd like to try and use it, sort of actually try and use it and put it to sort of some good use. It seems such a shame to sort of rip it apart. I know Ant was going to keep his, but he ended up pulling it apart and taking the bits out, and I've kind of been tempted to do the same, but the more and more I think about it, I really don't want to do it. So the plan is, I've got a variac here, and believe it or not, although this is got sort of the same thing, this is actually two cores joined together, and in the bottom one it has an air gap, and if you know anything about these kind of things, an air gap means that this is actually a variable ballast. So working out the power outputs that this can give out and whatever, I've sort of tried to work out, but I mean it needs testing. For all I know, this variac could take 220 volts and it could only put 150 out. We will find out. I'm not sure if Ant tested his one, because I'm pretty certain that he said that the transformer run on 400 volts, which would mean the output of this would be 400 volts, which probably isn't much good for anyone as a sort of a standard variac. But if it isn't, and it is 240, everything else I've found inside, there's quite a large contactor there, you've got some resistors, you've got the switch there, which is the power inputs from 120 to, can't remember how many volts it was. You've got a relay down there, I'd say a micro switch, but it's not a micro switch, it's bloody massive. It's sort of a micro switch type shape thing, but it's not actually a micro switch. Everyone knows how big a micro switch is, and yeah, it's bigger than my finger. So you've got the main power buttons here. This is to switch between the different levels of outputs. And to give me a second, oh, I've got eBay going off. I've got my torch here, so actually try and help. Well, it's actually my phone. You can see there's a diode there. There's a couple of plates around here with diodes, big resistors. Here is a mechanical timer, and that's 240 volts as well. The thing is though, this could all be running off of one of these transformers, stepping it down or stuffing it up, depending on what you're putting in. So there's no guarantee. There's also the mechanical timer, the workings there, quite intricate. I'm going to try and get down there so that the dodgy camera work. So you can actually see in there a little. There's quite a lot going on in there, and I can't get a very good angle on it. But yeah, what I would like to do is have I'll use the original input selector because obviously there's transformers to change that. There's all bulbs all around the dials, around everything. So what I thought would be a really good thing to do was basically put an input, an output, and basically use it as a variable, a variac, but with it a variable ballast. So I will be keeping the front how it is, as opposed to trashing it and taking it apart, which I really don't want to do. I've got a green light there, so hang on, sorry about this. Green light there, I can't see that. Will be when you're actually using it. Red light when it's on standby. This switch here, also on Ants, was just an on-off switch, but this is actually switched between different power settings for the X-ray. So that I plan on using for well, on for the first one, and then AC, DC. And then I'll obviously have the milliamp gauge, which is actually, if you can see that, a voltmeter, so I'll be using that as the voltmeter. Unless of course I can change the dials, so I'm not sure if I can change the dials, but I'd like to have a timer built into it using the original mechanical timer and using the original switches for the on and off. So basically that's what I'd like to do with it, guys, is sort of change it inside wise. I'll be keeping a lot of the stuff that's already in there, but I will be making it work again. It won't be a particularly powerful variac, but I just think it's quite a neat idea to have that variac actually running. You don't often see a variac with a built-in ballast on the back, so you know it's the perfect ballast for the variac. The windings are absolutely huge, so I mean I don't actually know how many amps it takes, but that's in line with my I mean the size of the windings on that are in line with my 20 amp, but I can't see it being 20 amp. But I mean there's only one way to find out, and that's load testing, and taking temperature and doing everything like that. So if you've got any suggestions or comments or any ideas, or if you know of a reason why it won't work, let me know. As I said, I just literally sat and watched Ants' video trying to have a bit of a compare. This one is actually quite a lot bigger physically, and there was he said there was 10 turn pots on his, but these aren't actually 10 turns, these are just 3/4 turns, so that's the difference. Got the same tubes in here, have no idea what they are, might be quite interesting to take that off. But again, it's one of those things where if you guys want to see it, then I'll do a video of it. If not, I'll sort of strip it down and take it apart at my own leisure, and won't get it on video. So yeah, if you want to see the parts that come out of it, then comment, and I'll try and get as much of it on camera as I can. But yeah, if there's anything that anyone would particularly like to see more of, then just sort of let me know. I mean, there's relays down there, not particularly interesting, but tubes, capacitors, timers, have no idea what. This thing, can't get any light. What that thing there is, probably can't even see it. Have no idea what that is. But yeah, anyway, that is inside it, and that is how it works. Gonna have to use a little bit of reverse engineering. As I say, hopefully it'll be quite a usable, well, I say little, quite a usable large thing, and hopefully we can actually get it to do something, as opposed to just sort of strip it down, have a load of parts that are pretty